This is a cute piece from Grieg's Opus 12, his first set of lyric pieces that are all short and quite suitable for intermediate players. It can be played very fast, but it doesn't have to be, in my opinion, and it fits the hands pretty well, and for 2 pages it's still a lot of repetition, so it's not that much material to learn actually. So elves dancing lightly and playfully and full of energy. So what do we have here? First statement establishes E minor with these bouncy quarter notes, and then this charming movement upward, like a dance move with some turns. Then the answering phrase up here, the same rhythm, quarter notes. Now B minor, that's the minor dominant, and the same type of answering eighth notes, but now there's quite a lot happening in this small window. Left hand gets an entry, and it flips to major from starts in minor, but F sharp goes to B minor, but instead of that it goes to B, flips to major, like already starting to modulate between this minor dominant and major dominant. And this is like the hardest thing, to line up the hands to get it really even rhythmically. Anyway, we get these 2 things repeated second time. And now we get the second part of the piece. So we get this type of call and response again, but now it's more emphasized. So forte and pianissimo, something new like interrupts down there. And there is a problem of playing this, because it's such a big jump for the right hand. If you just want to play this with both hands, it would be natural to do it with a 5, but coming from here, it's a really big jump to the 5, and you don't have time to do that in tempo. So either you have to like take a little bit of time, but that kind of stops up the flow a little bit, I think. So there are some solutions, and the first one is you can start with a thumb. So it's a much less distance to jump instead of, or you can just play it with the left hand, either the first 2 notes like this and then jump down, or just the whole thing. And in a way it makes sense to have that entry as one voice in the left hand, and then the response you can do like with the right hand. There is one final alternative solution which the Puritans hate, to drop the last 8th note. But if you want to have a really fast tempo and want to play with both hands, I think it's a viable solution. It doesn't matter that much to drop it. But there is no reason to drop it if you play it with the left hand, I think. Or take time and play it with the right hand. There's a bunch of different solutions here. Anyway, musically after this is a very clear harmonic flavor. It's the diminished chord, going between the same diminished chord and again, and now it continues in a sequence. It's actually the same chord, so going up a third. That's the charm of the diminished chord. You can make it a sequence with the same chord. So here starts the crescendo, and for the third time finds the way back to E minor. Really lovely harmonic progression here. Really surprising, this C7 going to an F sharp 7 flat 5. It's kind of a close chord to C7. There are tritone substitutions or tritone relationship. So if you have a C7, but if you have a C7 flat 5, it's the same chord as a F sharp 7 flat 5 because they're symmetrical. Here it's the C7 with a G, then turns to F sharp 7, but it's still like some kind of this romantic chromatic modulations that you find in Grieg and other romantic composers. After the F sharp, we go to the B sus4 to resolve into a B major, which is a dominant. So that's finding the way back to E minor and the first statement. So now we get the first statement again, and you can start to sense this kind of gravitational pull, harmonic gravity. Because we end in the dominant and then you want to go back. It's so natural to get the first statement back in minor again. And the same when the first statement ends. It ends in the dominant. That's like a gravitational pull to the second statement, the second part that starts in the dominant. So we get basically one full cycle of this. Except it's only one time. The first time it's in the beginning it's 2 times, now it's immediately interrupted with a bass. But we get all of this. It's kind of really quick surges, crescendo up to forte and then back to pianissimo quickly. High energy in this dance. So this is the pull here with the sus4. That's a strong gravitational pull on the dominant. So now we're starting the third cycle. This is what I'm talking about, a lot of repetition in this short piece. And now for the third time, now it comes the second time. But now we go to a new direction and we start to play the coda, which is ending the piece. So, kind of harmonic pirouette from E minor back to E minor. Going down in thirds, another typical Grieg feature, sequence in thirds. Some kind of C or A minor or F. Somewhere in between here because of the passing notes. This is a clear B7 dominant back to E minor. And here we get this statement in the low register as it feels kind of new, but it's the same statement and in a new version down here. And pianissimo. And then just the final chords. It says pedal here, so you could play with pedal. But I do prefer to just keep it clean without pedal, to keep the short bounciness. It's kind of more fun ending that way. And that's Grieg's Elfin dance. Thanks for watching Sonata Secrets, and I'll see you in another video.